Hello everyone and welcome back to another Essential Album video. We're now on week 25 and this week we're taking a look at Seal 2 by Seal. First released May 23rd, 1994. Some notable tracks on this album include Kiss from a Rose, Prayer for the Dying, Don't Cry, and Bring It On. I guess technically this album is also just called Seal, but it is collectively known as Seal 2 because on his debut album from a few years earlier was also called Seal. So this one basically just goes by Seal 2, even though technically it is another self-titled album from Seal. So I have some notes here about the album. We're going to get through those, and then we're going to get to our track list and all that as well. I first remember, I think the first song I heard from this album, or music video I should say, was Prayer for the Dying. I think I saw that sometime in the summer, like late summer, I think it was like August maybe, of 1994. And then of course we all know Kiss from a Rose, as it ended up on the soundtrack to a movie coming out a year after this, which was Batman Forever. Basically the song kind of blew up due to that soundtrack. Let me get to my notes here for this. Alright, so we have Seal 2, like we mentioned earlier, first released May 23rd, 1994. Second studio album, hence why it's called Seal 2. And the cover of this album is basically kind of like so linked to Seal that it eventually became kind of his logo. So this is kind of like his like symbol, if you will. And I think this is definitely one of his better albums. Like the track list for this has a lot of great tracks, like including the tracks I just listed off. We'll get to more of those tracks in a moment. But yeah, this kind of cover and this pose is become kind of synonymous with him, and like I said, became his logo after that. The album was produced by Trevor Horn, and the reason I kind of knew or know who Trevor Horn is mostly is from a comment made on the radio station in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think it was Wave 103. And he is the producer on a track on that soundtrack, which was Frankie Goes to Hollywood in Two Tribes. Because I think the DJ on that station actually makes a mention of Trevor. He's like, Trevor Horn. He was like, hey, this song is produced by Trevor Horn. So, like, kind of that became kind of like a name that I was familiar with, mostly from playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And Wave 103 is a really cool station. I have a quote here from Trevor Horn about this. Let me actually just bring it up here. There we go. So this quote came from Trevor Horn when I think he worked on Trevor Horn produced, I think, the first Seal album, so Seal, and then he produced Seal 2, and I think he also produced Seal 4 as well. But this is a quote from him. He says, quote, somebody said, a black guy who sounds like Peter Gabriel, that's not commercial. They completely missed what was going on. So kind of has, like, Seal's got I guess you could say, like, he does have a kind of Peter Gabriel, like, quality to the way he sings. I mean, both Peter Gabriel and Seal are from England. So that could be like that. But yeah, I think, like, Seal's just got I don't really know what the genre is for this. I guess it's like pop, but it's like more like, I guess, like adult contemporary pop, whatever, however you want to put it there. You can say it kind of is in the same kind of vein as Peter Gabriel, maybe Phil Collins. Peter Gabriel's probably a closer, like analog or comparison to May. They kind of have a very similar musical style and singing style that I've definitely noticed after reading that quote. It made a little bit more sense. Like we mentioned earlier, this was featured on the soundtrack to Batman Forever. My first time I heard the song was off of that soundtrack, even though I think I had heard, like I said, I had heard Prayer for the Dying off of like MTV or radio player or something like that. But yeah, Kiss from a Rose, like a year later, really kind of blew up due to the Batman Forever soundtrack. And this was an era, I've mentioned this on some of my other videos and across like various series I worked on, where soundtracks back in the 90s would really give artists a big boost of exposure to certain songs. So some songs they maybe put on like an album, like in this case, Kiss from a Rose is off an album that came out a year prior to that. and then the soundtrack pushed that song to a much wider audience than maybe you would have gotten from just listening to this album here. So yeah, soundtracks back then were a really good way for like songs to get discovered by people that maybe wouldn't normally listen to whatever album they were on initially. And Kiss from a Rose is definitely one of Seal's most iconic songs. It might even be like the song that he is most well known for. And a lot of that is due to that exposure from the Batman Forever soundtrack. Prayer for the Dying ended up charting very well. So I think that was kind of like the hit song off this album, and then the Batman Forever soundtrack really kind of pushed Kiss from a Rose beyond even further than that. But yeah, Prayer for the Dying ended up getting charting at number 21. Kiss from a Rose ended up winning, I think, 3 Grammys in 1996. It's weird that it was a 1996 Grammy Awards and not 1995. I don't know if they changed like the submission guidelines like that year, or maybe it was the fact that it was on that soundtrack that made it more likely that it would do well in the 96 Grammys. However, so Kiss from a Rose, 1996 Grammys, it won Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Male Pop Vocal Performance for that song as well. We're going to get to our just quick review scores here for this album. Let's see here. So it's reviewed pretty well. AllMusic has it at a 4.5 out of 5, while the Encyclopedia of Popular Music has it at a 4 out of 5. An A from Entertainment Weekly. LA Times has it at a 3 out of 4. Rolling Stone gave it looks like a 4 out of 5. Same thing from the Rolling Stone album guide. The only two that kind of had low reviews were Smash Hits, which gave it a 2 out of 5, and looks like NME had it at a 4 out of 10. We're now going to move into our track list here. So yeah, so depending on what version you're listening to, I have on CD, I have the original version, which is about 50 minutes and 29 seconds. I think the 30th anniversary edition gives you some additional tracks as well as some like covers and things like that. So I actually haven't listened to the 30th anniversary deluxe edition or the second CD. I have listened to the main studio album, which is this right here. So track 1 is Bring It On, and that just starts off like really hard. I actually really like Bring It On. It's not one of his like, I don't think it was like necessarily like a hit, but it is a great way to start the album, and I really enjoy that one. Track 2 is Prayer for the Dying. Like I said, my kind of exposure to Seal was off of that track. So Prayer for the Dying's got a really cool music video. Just a very solid track overall. One of my favorite tracks on the album. And then track 3 is Dreaming in Metaphors. Track 4 is Don't Cry. Really like that one as well. That's kind of, I think, the longest song on the album. It comes in at over 6 minutes. But yeah, Don't Cry is just great. The lyrics are great. The music is like the the music, the instrumentalization, and that's what I'm trying to say, is really good on that as well. Anyhow, that is track 4. Track 5 is Fast Changes. Track 6, Kiss from a Rose, again, one of Seal's most iconic tracks. Track 7 is People Asking Why. Track 8 is Newborn Friend. Track 9 is If I Could, which is a duet with Joni Mitchell. Absolutely love Joni Mitchell. I think I need to do one of her albums for this series. I just don't know which one. Track 10 is I'm Alive. And then track 11 is the reprise version of Bring It On. So again, 11 tracks, about 50 minutes in length, 50 minutes and 29 seconds to be exact. Probably my favorite tracks on this album, I'm going to just say, Bring It On is up there, Prayer for the Dying, Don't Cry, and Kiss from a Rose. Probably the top 4 tracks on there. If I had to choose just one, I don't know. It's like Kiss from a Rose is iconic, but I think like Don't Cry might be my favorite. Don't Cry is just incredibly solid. And then the 30th anniversary edition adds in some covers and some extra stuff. So it has an alternate version of Bring It On, has a song called Reality, an alternate version of Bring It On, another version, a different version of Kiss from a Rose, alternate version of Fast Changes and Newborn Friend, alternate versions of I'm Alive, another version of Don't Cry. People asking why. The covers on here are, we have covers of The Wind Cries Mary, which is a Jimi Hendrix cover, and then a cover of Fly Like an Eagle by Steve Miller. I definitely need to check out the 30th anniversary deluxe edition. Some of these alternate takes and covers seem really cool. So that is, I think, going to do it for this album. We'll be back again in a week from now with a whole new album. No idea what that one's going to be yet. I'm going to listen to some stuff, dig through kind of like, I keep a huge spreadsheet of everything I've listened to, at least starting last year and this year as well. So dig through those lists and see what I can come up with. But again, that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.